subject of this is grow up, then grow out. I'm kind of excited about this. This was fun putting it together. I was really looking at trying to figure out, maybe in the simplest way, what are some of the main components of why businesses work and don't work, and why some businesses grow and some businesses flatline or even get worse, and even breaking it down to stores as well. So this will definitely it will reflect individuals. It will also reflect our stores and our culture. It will also reflect our company. So think of those three levels, and so hopefully this will be interesting for you guys. So first of all, I want to talk about the difference between horizontal growth versus vertical growth, and these are just general ideas. So for the sake of this presentation, we're going to look at horizontal growth as doing more. So think of it like doing more, or it's your capacity. It's the amount of stuff you can do. Like if you're a juggler, it's how many knives you can juggle, or how many plates you can spin, or if you're a weightlifter, how much weight can you lift above your head. So it's more of capacity, what you can handle, okay? And horizontal growth would be being able to do more, okay? It deals with like in our business, it's knowledge requirements, or increased responsibilities, or systems and process management, being able to do more with that. Expected production increase, so increasing the amount of stuff you can do or get done in a certain amount of time would be horizontal growth that way. Expected return on investment, like what's your goals? How much money do you want to make? So on an individual level, it could be like, do you want to make more money? Do you want to take on more responsibility? Do you want to just increase your load? And then if we look at vertical growth, vertical growth is this is more of a competency or who you are. Okay, and this deals more with kind of quality over quantity, I guess, becoming better at what you do. So vertical growth represents on an individual level, or if you have purpose and value, or responsibility and awareness, or the ability to be committed and disciplined, or humble and accountable, or maybe serving and caring, or influential, or your leadership ability. So it really is about, it kind of focuses more on character, integrity, doing the right thing. Are you stable in who you are and growing, and so this is really based on who you are versus what you can do, which is the horizontal. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to move on here. So there's a cycle here, and we call this the organizational growth cycle. And this is interesting. This is one of the simplest and one of the simplest and one of the clearest ways to look at why businesses perform the way they perform. How they do what they do. So it's really interesting. So if we look at these three principles, or these three ideas, the first is the idea of personal growth. So personal growth for every person on the team. If we were to make that a target in our company to encourage personal growth for every person on the team. So if we look at Best Investments, our company, we really focus on personal growth for every person, from me all the way down to the newest person that just joined our company maybe today. And if we were to focus on personal growth for every person, that really is the baseline level that kicks everything off. Everything kind of stems from there. If we can really focus on personal growth, it's going to affect everything else. So now let's move down to the second one here. So the second idea is that everyone contributes towards a great culture. Okay, so the first is about personal growth. The second is about a great culture. So think about that. If everybody is engaged in personal growth in the company, a great culture is going to happen, because that's really what a great culture is. It's made up of people that are growing, and the more every person in the company grows, the better our culture is going to be. And of course, the better our culture is, the more we're going to perform, the better we're going to do, the better we're going to perform customer service, the better we're going to be able to produce things, the better we're going to that get along with each other and encourage each other and keep the team together and avoid the cost of turnover and that type of thing. And then, of course, if we have a great culture that comes from personal growth, then that culture is going to stimulate profitability. We're just going to get better at it. Profitability, and when stores are running really well and very efficient and they're profitable, it's because of the people. It really is because of the people and the culture. And so culture stimulates profitability. And then, of course, profitability promotes further growth. So you can see the lines here, how it works. So personal growth leads to a better culture, and a better culture leads to better profitability, which promotes further growth. So it really is a cycle. And as the company profits better and becomes stronger and puts more emphasis on even better personal growth, then people can grow even more. Our culture gets even better, and we can profit even better and keep going. So it really is a cycle that goes around and around. And of course, the negative can play out as well. So if we're not growing, if we're just kind of on cruise control, if we have this fixed mindset and we're not doing, and the majority of people in our company really aren't growing, we're just kind of coming to work and working a job, well, then our culture is going to catch up to that as well. We're going to have a lethargic culture. The culture isn't going to be really fixated on getting any type of good results. And then the profitability is going to struggle because of that. And then, of course, when profitability struggles, it makes it that much more difficult to focus on helping people the personal growth. So you can see it's a negative thing too. So at some point, if we've got a negative cycle going, we've got to break that cycle somehow. We've got to get back to that personal growth. And so it really is the key. That's the starting point on this whole thing. We have to figure out how all of us can grow and just get better at what we do. Okay, so that's the cycle, the organizational growth cycle. So let's dig in a little bit more and see how this works. We are actually going to look at all three of these categories. We're going to look at personal growth, culture, and then company profitability as well. So let's move in. So personal growth. When we're looking at personal growth, this means each individual person. So you and me and all of our assistant managers and our shift leaders and all of our pizza makers and register operators. It means all of us. And so what does it mean to grow personally, or have personal growth? So what it means is that we want to get better at some of the general things like care and candor. We want to care for each other, but we want to also be honest with each other and be able to speak the truth. We want to be learners, and we want to be able to seek to grow and to get better. Personal growth also requires, good confidence and assurance. So if we're struggling in those areas, we can work on them and we can get better at that. We can always become more confident, more assured by working on ourselves and getting better. Focus and perseverance. Sometimes people struggle because it's hard to focus, and sometimes we don't focus because we don't have any maybe vision or goals set for ourselves. And then, of course, accomplishing victory. If we're going to grow personally, it needs to result in accomplishing things and having victory. So that's what we're really looking at. We're looking at personal growth, trying to grow on all that. So now, if you look at this illustration here, we've got this triangle down here. So on the baseline on the bottom, got the triangle pointing to the left and to the right. This represents our capacity, and so the broader this double-sided arrow is, the more that we can actually do, the more we can accomplish, the more plates we can spin, the more knives we can juggle. And then if we look at the vertical one here, this is the competency. It's who you currently are. So if we're looking at this from a personal growth thing, the vertical is who you personally are, and the horizontal is what you can do. And the triangle represents a restraint. And I want you all to get this, because it's really important for you to understand everything else that comes after this. You need to understand that there really is a triangle restraint in here. And this triangle is strong. In fact, a triangle is the strongest, shape there is, for whatever reason. I'm not a math guy, But for whatever reason, triangles are strong. And here's how this works. See, if you don't grow yourself, grow your competency or grow vertically, become better, then you really can't grow what you can do. Okay, it's a limit, it's a cap. See, there's a fallacy with that. In order to grow horizontally, in order to do more and produce more, you have to grow up first. That's why I titled this "Grow Up, Then Grow Out," and so it's really important to understand that, because this this principle applies in just about everything with work. And I want to make a practical example for you with restaurants and multiple restaurants. If we currently have 7 stores and we want to get to 21 stores, if we're going to get to 21 stores, we can't just go buy 14 more stores and just grow out horizontally until we first grow vertically. Because there's a lot of questions that's going to come up. If we just buy 14 more stores, well, who's going to run them? And who's going to oversee those people that are running them? And who's going to do, the payroll? And who's going to do all of this stuff? Because there might be difficulties, running 21 stores using a 7-store model. Okay, and this happens a lot in the business world where companies will expand horizontally more quickly than they should. They'll expand horizontally, but their vertical growth doesn't grow enough to keep up. There might not be enough structure in middle management. You don't have enough supervision. Maybe you extend yourself financially, so you don't have enough capital. Vertical capital to be able to pay all the bills horizontally because you got too many things to pay for now. On a personal finance level too, it's the same kind of thing. When you grow vertically, you get better at managing your money. You get better at making more money, and then you get better at managing your money. And when you get better at managing your money and prioritizing and just becoming better at growing your margin of what you save, or the difference between how much you make in your paycheck, if there's a big margin there, then this is going to grow. Your vertical is going to grow. If you're spending more money than you're making, well, this vertical is going to shrink, right? And so as it shrinks, that means your capacity goes down. But if it grows and you can gather more money, or you can stay ahead financially, well, then the horizontal will grow, and then you can afford more, and so it's really important to understand that the vertical here is the quality. It's getting better at something. It's learning a skill, becoming more efficient, smarter, wiser, whatever it is. And then only when that goes up can you actually widen your capacity. All right? Hopefully that all makes sense. So I just wanted to get you on the right path so you know what's going on. So these lines right here, these dotted lines, this represents kind of where we're at right now. So this blue vertical line, this is just where we're currently at with our competency, and then down below, this capacity, these blue lines, is kind of where we're at here. So if we just stay the way we are forever, these lines won't move much and the arrows won't move much. All right, so now let's open this up for some potential. Okay, so everything else is the same here, but let's look at this now too. Let's look at these green arrows. They represent potential. So meaning we can become more, right? So we're really asking the question of, okay, so this is where we're at. Our current level is here, but how do we grow this? How do we become more? How do we become stronger? How do we become better at what we do? And then also down here, the green is really asking the question of how can we accomplish more? How can we do more? And so just to touch base on a couple of these real quick. So competency, or who you can become, relies on a few different things, in purpose and value, responsible and aware, committed and driven, self-disciplined and efficient, humble and accountable, interdependent and serving. Those are just some qualities of how we can grow ourselves, and then how we can grow our capacity also. Just increasing the knowledge in the job, increasing our responsibilities, systems and processes, expected production, and then expected return on investment. Those are just ways that we can actually grow horizontally. Now, it's interesting. Everybody that I've ever asked that I can remember that I've ever asked, like, how'd you like to make a lot more money than you make now? Everybody would raise their hand and say, yeah, I'd like to do that. And that's making more money would be horizontal. Okay, that would be horizontal. That would be increasing your return on investment. So making more money, right? But here's the thing. A lot of people are fine with making more money without growing themselves first. Okay, and so what happens is when we focus on making more money versus growing ourselves, we may end up making a little bit more money because we fooled somebody into paying us more than what we're worth, or we've just taken steps to prioritize money over compromising on other areas, that type of thing. And so if that's what you focus on, you can do that, but we're going to look at a potential problem with that. Let's look at this. For personal growth, I want to look at a fixed model. And so a fixed model basically says, I'm going to keep doing and I'm going to keep being. So this would be if we do not focus on increasing our vertical or increasing who we are, and if we don't focus on increasing what we do or what our load is, then really we can expect that our current competency will equal our current capacity. Okay? And so we're really going to stay the same. So the whole model is set up to kind of coast and continue doing what you've been doing. It requires on just staying who you are. Okay, so this is the fixed model for personal growth. All right, we'll keep moving. Now, let's say we do want to grow our income. We want to take on more responsibility. Maybe in your job, somebody says, well, how'd you like to make some more money? I can give you some more responsibility. And so you go, okay, I'll just take on some more responsibility and I'll do more. And so you take on a second job, or you do whatever it is. So you're really focused on your capacity. So you grow your capacity to a greater level. You do something that requires more of you. Okay. But if we don't grow our vertical, if we don't grow our competency, then we're going to struggle with this. Okay, our competency we'll have under competency, and then our capacity will be overloaded. Okay, so if we don't grow vertically first, but we grow horizontally, we're just going to be overloaded and not competent enough to do the job, because you can't take on more until you become more. Okay. And so this model is called the get more model. It's do before become. So you do more and hopefully you'll become something. You push it to the limit and hopefully you'll grow into your problem. But this is this is a tough way to think, really. So hopefully this makes sense here. So when we try to grow horizontally, bad things can happen. So let's move on here. But what if we were to grow vertically first? Okay, this is the become more model, and it's become before do. Okay, so we're not focusing on doing more, we're focusing on becoming more first. So we're increasing our competency and focusing on who we can become. So we're working on these qualities in ourselves, trying to become better at what we do. And the list of how to grow ourselves, our competency, is far beyond what I've got listed here. It can be working on your communication, it can be learning and growing in all kinds of different areas. But so when we move beyond what our current level is and we grow ourselves, then we see that our potential, which is this bigger triangle, can expand in giving you more potential. And then of course when we grow ourselves vertically, then we give ourselves room to grow horizontally. So competency growth equals capacity opportunity. Okay, capacity opportunity. Now, notice this doesn't say competency growth equals capacity growth. And that's because just because you grow your competency doesn't mean that your capacity grows. You actually have to move and take that step as well. It's possible to be overqualified for something because you're very well qualified what you're doing, but you're not taking on much because you just don't want to. You want to have your job be easy, maybe. You're not looking for a challenge. You're not really looking to expand what you do or what you get or what you have. You just may be looking for simplicity. And so taking a job that you're overqualified for might fall into that. And that's not good for you either. But if you're looking for opportunity, growing yourself vertically and getting better at who you are is the best way to create opportunity for yourself and create some capacity for you to grow into. All right. So then this is the become more model. Okay. This is what happens when you focus on growing who you are, followed by growing what you can do. And it has to be in that order, right? So when you grow yourself vertically and you get better, then you can expand. And when you expand, you'll see that this whole arrow got bigger and better. So you grew your vertical, who you are, and you grew your horizontal of what you can do. And now you're just bigger and better. You make more money, you serve more customers, you lead more people more effectively, and you're capable of doing more than you were in the prior model. So, all right, competency growth equals capacity growth. So this it actually ends up in growth both ways.